Welcome back to Legacy Builders, everybody. This is our mindset series. We've had a lot of good episodes so far, and we've really dived deep in what mindset is, how to change it, all of that. And we've got another really good topic for you today.
Thanks again for joining us. We appreciate all your guys' support. We appreciate you tuning in and
I always forget to thank you guys, but I am thankful as well. So I just wanted to say that.
we did raise them right, I tell you. We raised some thankful kids and grateful kids. So
it's always Dad. He's always like, something for you guys watching.
Yeah. So sometimes we got to remind our kids to, be thankful and be grateful, right? So.
But we have a great episode for you today. So
yes. So you guys are awesome. You're the reason why we do these things, to keep keep feeding you some stuff that we believe is impacting your lives. And we know it is because we hear the comments, we hear the testimonies, and so we feel we got another good one for you here today. And we're gonna, we've been in our mindset series, like Madison said, and this will be the last session that Madison and I do in this series, and we save the best for last, I believe. So. The mindset is so important. I think it's the reason why some people, hinder in their goals and success, and it's the reason why people flourish. And when they understand mindset, when they understand this barrier that last time we talked about this point on the mountain. There's this barrier that we keep hitting because there's something in our mind that has set us to believe that we can't go past this point on the mountain, and so. The topic that we want, I told you we'd save a topic here for last, and it is that very topic of belief. And so there's so many things wrapped around belief that it's important to understand. And in my opinion, so we talked about the process and what we could do to change our mind, and some of the things, to change your mind, what mindset is, but the very first thing, even before a decision. Or it might even become close second to decisions. Is right around the point of decision is the belief. Is getting to the point where you actually believe that thing that you're deciding or you're contemplating. You actually get to the point where you believe it can happen for you. And so belief is in my opinion, is the very first thing that has to be decided, has to be settled in your mind before anything. Will happen. It comes before any action is taken. It comes before things are set into motion. It's that belief. So we're going to talk a little bit about belief today, and just see where that goes.
Starting off, do you want to define belief? What is belief?
Yeah. So I think Webster's dictionary defines belief as the state or habit of mind where trust or confidence is placed in someone or something. And so when we get, again, I just love that, we talk about belief, and it says it's a state or habit of mind. It's a state of mind. It's a mindset. It's a trust where you trust, or you have a confidence placed in someone or something, this idea. And that someone or something, in the case of what we're trying to talk about in mindset, is this confidence and trust and belief in you, and that you are worthy of this thing, this belief that you can do this thing that you're set out to do, that you are worthy of it, that you're capable of doing it, that you deserve it, that all of these things that comes that hinders people because of the magic opposite of belief, which is doubt. And so easily we get caught up in doubt. And we talked about this before. It's the polar opposite of belief. We talked about in the last episode about fear and faith, how they're equal. So is doubt, and so is belief. They're the equals. They're the opposite. They operate in the same way. We doubt something is happening. We doubt we can do it. We doubt we deserve it. It's just all of this negativity comes in doubt, where we question these things. And so Madison and I were even talking before where we're talking about we have these goals and we have these dreams and we have these plans. And sometimes it's important. We might not want to share those dreams. We may not want to share those ideas and plans with just everybody.
Well, I was sharing like specifically to you because I shared that point.
Yeah.
But I was like, I might not have like the advice for you guys right now because I haven't really built completely that belief or that like mindset necessarily. I'm in the process of that, of really building those things. And so I was like saying and mentioning to you, I was like, I feel like you have to be so intentional when you're in the process of building a belief or building a mindset with what you're listening to, with what you're watching, with who you're letting speak into your life. Because when you share those dreams and goals, it gives another person power to place doubt in those goals, in those dreams. And if your belief is not built yet, if you're still doubtful yourself, like you don't need doubt feeding doubt. Like, I don't know if that made sense.
Yeah. I mean, there's always questions on whether or not you can do something and you're trying to build up this belief and you share something. But I'm glad you brought that point up. Well, two things I wanted to comment on what you just said, because you had said that you don't really have anything that you can offer advice for people. But I want to point out a time where Madison actually had the confidence and the belief in herself as a leader to not worry about what other people thought. Her peer pressure story, everybody has a time in their life where they can draw from that confidence and that belief in themselves. And so often we forget that we are powerful and we did make good decisions and we did do things. And she had stood up to some people, and when there's peer pressure involved, and she made a decision to not follow the crowd and to be the leader.
Which we've shared that story before and we use that story a lot, and that is not the only time that I stood up to peer pressure or
Right.
stopped that. But yes, that's a fair point.
So I just didn't want you to think that you didn't have anything to share with people, because it's just she's just sharing. I shared with you a little bit of what in the early stages of me developing belief. Madison is in those early stages where there's this belief and then there's doubt, and then there's belief and then there's a little doubt, and there's more belief, a little doubt. So you're taking 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 3 steps forward, 1 step back. See, and then, I mean, right now, I mean, my belief in myself is very hard to shake. It's going to take a lot for somebody to shake and alter my confidence and my belief in me, who I am, and what I can accomplish. Just not easy for you to shake that. And it's because I've been doing for a long time what I'm talking to you guys about, what I'm teaching them about. So now Madison has to walk it out in her own life. I can't walk it out for her. She has to, it's her belief.
Yeah.
My belief in her is only one voice. We talked about who's the most powerful voice, the belief in your life. It's you.
Yeah.
Right. And so she has to walk that out, and she's just sharing with you where she's at and walking out these beliefs. And we had just talked about a situation that point number 2 I wanted to bring out is when you do talk to these people, and you already have these doubts. Otherwise, I say sometimes as you're working this belief up and you're trying to get this belief in your life, you may not want to share it with everybody because they may cast doubt. And this is where the crazy thing is. They're not casting doubt on you. They're a voice of their own self reflect. Like,
right.
So that's the challenge, is what, like, if Madison were to share those dreams and stories with me, what do you think my response would be?
I mean, absolute belief.
Absolute belief.
Yeah.
You can, sure, yeah, you can accomplish that. Heck yeah, run full bore with that, Madison. Right? But
well, and there's proof to back that up, though. You've done that. I mean, time and time again throughout the course of my life.
But the point is why do I give that belief?
Because you believe in you and your dreams and your big visions and goals, and you want to pull that out. But I mean, you would not, it wouldn't even just be me. I mean, people could share their big dreams and beliefs with you that complete strangers or people that you are just met, but you would still do the same thing. So it's not just because I'm your daughter that you would be like,
correct,
believing in me.
Yep. And and you're right. I mean, I do that all the time. I've told that to many people. Hey, yeah, that's awesome. Let's do it. Yeah, you can do it. You deserve it. You're worthy of it. Those that I tell people that all the time.
Yeah.
But they're not everybody believes that about themselves.
Right.
So we have to help generate that belief in them. So I just never wanted to be a dream stealer. I always wanted to, you know, again, point is when you go and talk to people and you're trying to work up this belief that you can do it, that this is the thing that you want to do, just be careful who you share it with, because they're going to cast not the doubt of that idea and whether or not you can do it. Because here's what happens. If you do it, you take away their excuse for not doing it.
Yeah.
So it'd be better if they said, "Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy talk, Madison, because if you do it, that means I can do it too." See? And they don't believe they can do it, so they're going to talk crazy talk.
Yeah.
So then if you don't do it, they're like, "Yeah, see, I couldn't do it, you couldn't do it, it just can't be done." There's the belief. See? And so you just got to be careful on who you talk to this about, because they may have good intentions, but a lot of times they're really talking from their own self-belief
Yeah.
or self-doubt, whichever way you want to.
Well, on the flip, like you said too, you need to be like, maybe look at you and see if you're the one who's casting doubt into people and what that means and is saying about you as well.
Right.
So there's a two side to that. But yeah, I mean, I was just sharing my experience with you on just like what the process looks like and actually building the belief and the insecurities and doubts that go with it, and the insecurities and doubts that come with your 20s and all of that, and figuring out who you really want to be, what you really want to do with your life. And so that's where I think it's just a time to be careful. Because once that belief is set, like for example, you can't shake you can't shake your dreams. Nobody can tell you that, like, oh, Eric, you can't build a subdivision or you can't do this, and because you don't believe them.
Right.
But if you were in the process of it, I mean, going back to your time where you were building this, were you intentional about who you spent time around and things you did? I mean, you spent time at conferences and around people who were big dreamers just like you.
Exactly. I mean, it goes. I mean, the old saying. Maybe it's not so old if you've never heard the saying before, but you become like the people you associate with. And so, I mean, evaluate the 5 people you spend most of your time around, and I mean, you're probably most like those 5 people. So I just knew that if I needed to change some things in my life, I had to get around some different people. And unfortunately, it meant that I had to cut ties with some people. And it's not an easy thing to do either, especially in your younger years. But that was one of the things. Actually, I told you I couldn't remember some things. That's actually a remembrance of. I actually made a decision. I got to stop talking to these people, and it was it was a very tough decision and very lonely decision. But I just made that choice in my life. You know what? If I got to stop doing this, I got to stop hanging around these people because they're not going anywhere in their life. These people or other people are going somewhere in their life. I need to learn what they're doing. And so if I want to go somewhere, I got to stop doing the same thing over and over and over again, listen to the same advice of the people who aren't going anywhere. And I need to go and listen to some people who are going somewhere and doing something, who believe in me because they believe in themselves.
Yeah.
So I put myself in a different arena. I put myself into a different environment. See, and that's one thing we didn't really talk about last episode is, when you make decisions, a lot of times in belief, belief and decision is kind of around the same thing. Just by changing environments and changing locations doesn't mean that you change your belief. It doesn't mean that you change your decisions. You could, one of the things when I moved down here to Tennessee, there's some things that I left in Nebraska. I chose not to bring with me. I shut the door. I closed the door mindset wise. I am not bringing this with me anymore. I stopped it. I changed it. And I just didn't bring it with me. I could have moved to Tennessee, brought all that stuff with me, and continued to live life in Tennessee, and it would have been the same thing I was doing in Nebraska.
Yeah.
Changing locations is not the answer. You have to change this. This is where the answer is. So I made some changes that I needed to be around some different people. And so you might need to evaluate who you're hanging around. Am I saying go cut ties with all these people? No, that's not what I'm saying. You got to make that decision. I don't know what you want to do. I don't know where you want to go. But if people keep spewing negative stuff on everything that you bring to them, what are we doing? Is that a value to you? I mean, Madison and I would have a talk about, as she's growing up in high school. I mean, these are very sensitive years about the definition of friends. And we would have all these conversations about friends and, really, are they really your friends? There's some, I listen to the young kids that, oh, you're not my friend anymore. And then the next day, oh, you're my best friend. Well, you're not my friend. I mean, they play
fifth grade and all through elementary.
Yeah.
But I mean, it does carry into high school and life and all that. You think those kid games are done, but they're not necessarily.
Yeah, they're not done.
They don't say it quite as childish, but it's the same sort of game that can be played.
But we talked about what is a true friend then. I mean, we talked about that. What is a true friend? I mean, a true friend is going to tell you things for your betterment.
Yeah.
If I'm sorry, if my friend sees me going down the wrong path and lets me go down that wrong path, that's not my friend. My friend would say, "Hey, stop. What are you doing? Turn around. Here, what do you need help? Because you are not going down the right path. You need to stop what you're doing. Let me help you." That would be a friend. Not the friend that would encourage you, "Hey, let's go down this wrong path together." We gotta identify what friends are, but we kind of got a little off topic of this topic of belief.
But that's not belief, yes.
Well, but I'm saying is friends help cultivate that belief.
Yeah.
And if these friends are not edifying and building belief in you, I mean, we really got to evaluate what's the definition of a friend. We should be able to go to our friends for encouragement. We should be able to go to our friends and hopefully they believe in us. Whether they believe in themselves or not, they should be able to set their personal beliefs aside and say, you know what, even if I can't do it, I believe you can do it because you're awesome. You should be able to at least say that, and not downplay, somebody else's dream and belief. Man, encourage them.
Yeah.
So I want to read, this will kind of segue into our next thing, but I did find my favorite quote. I'm going to read here.
You mentioned this quote last episode.
Yeah, I mentioned it in the last episode, and this is going to really segue into the next one. I'll read a couple excerpts of our greatest fear, and this is by Marianne Williamson. It's in a book called A Return to Love. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It's our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, handsome, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You're a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightening about shrinking so other people won't feel insecure around you. We're all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in every one. And as we let our own light shine, we consciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our fear, our presence automatically liberates others. So we owe it not just to ourselves, but we owe it to our friends. We owe it to the people around us to be an example. As I mentioned before to Madison, I could sit back and I could coast and I could not do anything, but that's not going to serve my kids well. I'm going to be an example. My overcoming of my fears and challenges today liberates them and shows them that it's possible, that they can overcome everything. If I fail and I choose to go after something and stop and quit, what's that say to them? That just gives them a reason. Well, if that was too hard for Dad, I guess I can't do it either. And it tells them that their dreams can't happen. It tells them that they can't be motivated, or they have to seek elsewhere to get that validation and to get that encouragement. It's going to be more of an uphill battle. I owe it to them to continue to push forward and to build dreams and overcome and build challenges. It's my example that sets them free. And one of the biggest examples, or wait, you got something on that? One of the biggest examples, easiest examples to use this idea of belief is with Roger Bannister. Now, if you've never heard of Roger Bannister, He was an Olympic gold medalist he ran the mile in the Olympics. He was a runner, and back in the day, the fastest time was nobody could break a 4-minute mile. They actually they thought, they had this state of mind that if you were to run, that it was humanly impossible to run faster than 4 minutes. That if you were to run in a mile under 4 minutes, that your heart would literally explode and you would die. And all of a sudden, one day, for whatever reason, Roger Bannister decided that he was going to run under a 4-minute mile. And he once he made that decision, and this is what he believed it could be done. He believed it was possible. And it's only after that belief that you think that you can do it. Only that belief that you think it's at least possible. And even if you don't believe you can do it, do you at least believe that it's possible? If we can just get you to believe that, hey, you know what? It's possible. It's possible for me. It's possible that it can be done. It is possible. At least ask yourself that question. Can you at least believe it's at least possible? Then we can develop that belief and cultivate it as you start to believe, yeah, it's possible. Then what happens when you believe it's possible? Well, you need to start working. You need to start making motions towards that thing. So Roger Bannister had to train. He had to train in ways that he didn't train before. He had to get to the state of mind that when he was approaching that 4-minute mile and breaking that 4-minute barrier, that he wasn't going to die. He had to conquer that fear, that emotion, all of that stuff. I mean, his life was literally on the line with this decision and this belief to run a mile under 4 minutes. Talk about a barrier. His life was in danger. So think about that. But he had this belief that was possible. And so then all of a sudden he's running and he started to train differently. He started to work harder. He started to change. Maybe he changed some eating. So things started to change in his life because he had a belief and he made a decision he was going to break the 4-minute mile. So as he was running, and all of a sudden his time would improve. Now the belief started to enhance. Then he would run and train and work some more, eat different, whatever he was doing. And the time got even quicker. And so he believed even more. So it started to generate more belief. And then all of a sudden, I don't know if it was I can't remember if it was in the Olympics or whatever, he broke the 4-minute mile. He actually ran the mile in under 4 minutes. So this thing that they thought from the beginning of time, that was the barrier in people's mind that was physically, humanly impossible to do, Roger Bannister did it. Now you'd think that that's the end of the story, but what happened? Just like in the quote that I just read to you, his breaking of the 4-minute mile liberated others to also believe that it was possible. No longer did they think that it was humanly impossible to run a 4-minute mile, that their heart would explode and that they would die. A few months later, somebody else broke the 3-minute mile. A few months later, another person broke the 4-minute mile. They ran it under 4 minutes. Another one broke the 4-minute mile. Today, you cannot compete in almost any level of maybe high school and above sport to run a mile in over 4 minutes. You will lose. So now today, you have to run the mile in under 4 minutes in order to even have a chance to win. So this thing that was humanly impossible is now it's a floor. It's a floor.
Now a new standard, I would say.
Right. It's now the floor. What used to be the ceiling has now become the floor. So now you have new heights, these things that who knows what is possible. And then I don't even know what the record is, but I mean, I watched like Usain Bolt. That dude is insane. I don't even know what the record is anymore, but I would watch some of the Olympics and I like watching excellence. And I just see some of these guys and it's crazy how fast these runners can be. And, and I like watching Secretariat. There's a movie about a horse racing where they thought even in horse racing that if a horse were to race these races and win these times, that the horse's heart would actually explode. And then Secretariat just destroyed all of that. So it's these beliefs that we have to now get to where we can break these barriers in our own mind and set our own standards, set our own charts as what can be achieved, set our own dreams that can be accomplished. No longer are we listening to the people around us as what they think is possible. What do we believe? What do we think is possible? And so that's where we want to live in that state of mind, live in that arena where you're always thinking about what's possible, not what can't be done. There's plenty of that around. You can open books and read that online and on social media every day, what can't be done and how stupid everybody is. What do you think is possible? And when you make that belief and you get to the point where you believe in yourself, then world changers are born. You now set examples for other people to change their own life. Then you can get on a podcast and you can share with the world some of the things that you've learned and that you've come to believe and set records and inspire other people to do the same. So
100%. And I agree like with all of that. But I also have a question.
yeah,
I also have a question for the people who maybe are like, I don't believe in myself. I don't believe I can do anything, like, because that's real. I feel like everybody is there at some point in their life and you have to get over that. And that's what we're trying to help give feedback and tips and stuff like that. But if you're that person, like, what do you do in that moment? I mean, I know I have some things. Can I go first?
yeah,
I would say like you said, watch those movies. Watch those movies to get the feeling of what those people are feeling in belief. If your goal is to lose weight, like watch videos of people who have done it, like weight loss stories and stuff like that, and you'll start to be like, okay, if like these people have done it too, like by maybe person 10, you're like, okay, maybe I'm building a little bit of belief in myself. Or even go back to the smallest of things that you have accomplished. If you're like, I've accomplished nothing, let me tell you, I promise you've accomplished something. And so go back and find that one thing and start to believe that you can do it little by little and create that momentum. Because then once you create the momentum, like you're talking about, like you become unstoppable. Like, I mean, and that belief, like nobody can then stop that belief.
well, that belief transcends mountains. Like
Yeah.
when we talked about this, I mean, in this arena, my belief is the same because the belief is in me. So if I'm in this arena, I believe I can do it. I can go to another arena and I believe I can do it. I can
Yeah.
go to another arena and I believe I can do it. And so I take those same habits of belief. I mean, it might take a little bit more work and depending on the arena that I'm in, but I can just, I believe and I test myself out in other arenas. It's just to make sure I'm working on belief.
Yeah. But I mean, it's a constant buildup, building yourself
It
up.
is. I mean, you got to find everybody has a song that they've listened to that inspires them. Everybody has a song that motivates them. What I mean, I talk to my kids all the time. What's the highest level of discipline?
Self-discipline.
Self-discipline. What's the highest level of motivation?
Self-motivation.
Self-motivation. See, so if we can find the things that motivate ourselves, we got to turn to those things. When the world is telling us we can't, we need to find out the reasons why we can. Find
Yeah.
those songs. I mean, I have one of my favorite songs I listen to all the time is "Man in Motion." Saint Elmo's Fire, I guess is what it's called.
I've also never heard of that one.
You've never heard Saint
I
Elmo's
don't
Fire?
think so.
Yeah, you've heard it. Just once in your life, a man has his time, and my time is now. And I would just
I don't think I've ever heard this. We're gonna have to go listen to it. Well, I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to go listen to it.
Saint Elmo's Fire. Yeah, it's a really
Yeah.
good song. And so now I would listen to that song and like, yeah, my time is now. It's my time. It's my time to shine. It's my time to rise. It's my time to believe. It's my time to move forward. You know, it may not be everybody else's time, but right now it's my time. And I would just self-talk. You know, we talked about Muhammad Ali. He would go out and he'd get in the boxing ring and before the matches, and he'd be, I'm the baddest in the world. I float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. I'm gonna knock you out in round 3. And then people would think he's all cocky and like, you know, why are you all cocky? He's like, well, I'm just talking to myself. I didn't know everybody else was listening. You know, so you got to just get to this point where you talk to yourself and you tell yourself how great you are. Because remember, we talked about this in other episodes. The only person that believes what you're saying is you. So when you keep saying you can't do it, guess who keeps believing you? You.
Well, and it's going to feel weird at first too. Let's talk about that. Like,
Yeah.
if you've never said anything kind to yourself before, it's going to feel weird because you don't really believe you, but once you keep saying it, you will believe you.
Right.
And so, like, I mean, if you look in the mirror and you're like, I'm proud of you, even if you don't believe it, it's going to be like, oh, but eventually you will believe it. And that's the goal, is to keep saying it so until you do believe it.
Yeah. Fine. Yeah, exactly. It was very uncomfortable for me. I mean, I couldn't even look myself in the eye and tell myself I was proud of myself. Couldn't do it. I wanted to kill myself. But life, I mean, I just found some hope, found some motivation, start changing some things in my life. So once I started changing some things in my life, I started telling myself different things. I started learning how to change. I started doing the things. And yeah, it was not comfortable at all. I didn't believe it one bit. But you know what? I didn't listen to my unbelief. I didn't listen to my doubt. I just went down. I said, nope, you are a leader. You've been telling yourself so long you're a failure. Nope, you're a leader. You're a winner.
Mm-hmm.
So I would write down what I wanted to believe about myself.
Yeah.
I mean, guys, gals, ultimately it revolves around you. You have to do it. You've got to pick yourself back up. Yeah, it's great. I can come by and pick somebody up. It's temporary until they believe in themselves and pick themselves back up when they fall. It's just, all we can do is show you how to do it, encourage you that you can do it. You can pull yourself up. You got to get to the point where you believe. I know there's a time in your life where you felt successful. I know there's a time in your life that you felt powerful, that you felt something, a spark. You need to go back and draw on that moment.
We know there's movies that you've watched that you felt inspired and felt like you could do it. We know there's songs, like, these are practical things that you can go back to. And, like, I mean, set yourself up for, like, this is my belief playlist. Yep. This is my playlist where I believe in myself, and just listen to that over and over and over again.
I have that playlist. I mean, I can play it right now. I mean,
yeah.
I can't remember the name of the song right now from Greatest Showman.
This Is Me.
This Is Me. Yeah, I mean, this is me. Like it. I mean, here I am. This is me.
Yeah.
Don't matter what you say.
Actually, that's a quote from Spirit that you just said, not the song.
What? That was?
Here I am. This is me.
Oh,
the Spirit song.
Well, that's another good one there.
For those of you who don't know who Spirit is, it's a horse movie.
Yeah.
So, but
I'll get it.
Tangent.
Talk about beliefs. Oh, I don't know if I should go there.
I used to believe I was a horse. So you know what?
Belief is so cool. My daughter,
little, okay,
believed she was the horse, and she would neigh around, and she would not. Madison, how's it going? Neigh, neigh. Yeah. Like, I want to talk to my daughter.
But they had to cut me off from that movie.
And she would come up and want me to pet her.
This is a great point in the fact that movies can be.
There you go.
They can create that.
Yeah.
Because once you cut me off from that movie, I stopped acting like a horse.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah.
But, like, I mean, so we laugh about this, and this is a funny example.
Yeah.
But it's actually real. No, it was not planned at all. I don't know that I act like a horse. But I mean, that's real. Like, I mean, you can get that from the songs and the movies and the things that you watch and listening to, because they create emotions, and emotions are incredibly powerful.
I mean, if you're a man, I dare you to go watch Creed. I dare you to go watch Rocky, and tell me that you're not inspired and you don't believe you can go out and conquer. I dare you to go watch Gladiator. I dare you to tell me that you can't slay a giant. I guarantee it will create a belief that it's possible.
Mm.
You will be inspired to overcome. I mean, there's so many movies. Rudy. I mean, we're getting ready to. Our family's going to watch. We do family nights and we do different series. We're going to watch the movie Rudy. They never seen it before. It's just another inspiring story of success. A little guy making it and playing in the Notre Dame football team. It's crazy, guy.
But remember, the goal is to capture that feeling, capture that inspired feeling, and take it with you.
Yeah.
Don't just leave it there. Don't just leave it at the end of the movie. Take it with you.
Yeah. Apply it in now. Take that belief and apply it into what you're dealing with right now and overcome that obstacle.
Yeah.
Rocky in the Rocky movie. I mean, I quote so many things in the Rocky movies because I watch it. It builds my belief. He talks about it's not whether or not you get knocked down and get back up. It's how hard you can get knocked down and still get back up. And it's just crazy. Life is going to keep coming at you. It's not whether you get hit, it's whether or not you can get back up. And you got to be able to get back up. You got to find those areas of belief in yourself and reasons to get back up.
100%.
So anyway, I can't stress enough how important belief is. Once you get it, once you understand it, you can start building it. You can continue to build it over and over and over again. When we get into our spiritual series, I'll reserve my spiritual parts of belief for that series. But I'm just telling you guys, you can do more than you think you can. If you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, guess what? You can't. You just got to believe. Just stop listening to there's one story, there's positive dog and negative dog, and they keep talking. And which one do you listen to? It's the one that you feed the most. So if you keep watching those movies, watching those videos, whatever those things are that get around people that inspire you, you start to believe, you start to listen to positive dog and start feeding that dog, and that dog is going to win the fight. It's going to build that belief in you. Just stop listening to the negative dog. Mm-hmm. Don't get around negative people. Don't listen to those negative movies. Don't watch, write down your positive success story, that blueprint that we talked about for your life. Write it down. It may not happen yet. It hasn't happened yet. We talked about the last episode.
Yeah.
The blueprint is the blueprint. It hasn't happened. You have to dig and work and build and hammer and nail and mess up and redo and
get inspected and fix this. There's just a long process. Yeah. No, I think that was a great example. And I would encourage people to go back to the last episode to listen to that example of the building your house and how the end plan and the end blueprint, it means it's built already technically before it's even built, but then there's the process to it. I thought that was such a good example, Dad.
Yep. Thank you, Madison.
You're welcome.
So yeah, get into, just take some time, get into a intentionally get you and listen to some positive music, then sit back and write your positive blueprint for your life. And then it'll inspire you to go out. And once you achieve a little thing, it's a little goal. That then you're like, wow, it is possible.
That's where it builds the confidence then.
Right.
Now you've built confidence. And you're like, I do listen to myself. I do act on the things that I say I'm going to act on. And now you've got a confidence and self-esteem built.
Yep.
So, but it all starts with belief. And so just believe in you. When you feel, if you've never believed in yourself before, if you feel, go listen to music, watch the movies, feel that little spark and get excited about it, because that means you can believe in you.
100%. Well, we believe in you. That's why we keep doing these things. And we believe you're going to tune in next time to our Legacy Builders podcast and be even more inspired. So we will be starting up a new series here pretty soon on, what's our next series? Finances. So
yes.
We're going to talk about money and finances and share with you some wisdom that we've learned, that we've been applying. And I think that next series is going to be good too. So
yeah, it'll be a little bit longer than this series.
Yeah, we got a lot more.
So.
Yep. lot more guest speakers coming on. And so we're excited to hear, just provide you some tools to improve your finances as well. So,
Yeah.
well, thank you all for joining us in this mindset series, and leave us your comments, email us, post them below, some thoughts, comments, questions, whatever you got. And we'd love to hear from y'all, and we'd love to hear your testimonies. So
Yeah.
thank you all for tuning in.
Yes. Thank you. We'll see you next time.
All right. Bye.
Thanks so much for joining us today on the Legacy Builders podcast. Make sure to share this episode with your friends and family, and remember, today is a great day to start building your legacy.